Hi, it's Fiona here. So how do you promote yourself in today's world? Because right now in companies and organizations, it's a challenging time and you've got to be able to stand out and show your value wherever you go. And even, if you have your own business, you've still got to be able to position yourself in your marketplace to stand out and frankly sell yourself in a way that works, in a way that doesn't feel weird for you, or that's off-putting and pushy for other people. So I did this little panel presentation the other day for Nike. And the whole theme was shameless self-promotion. And you see, I don't think there is any shame in promoting yourself. And in fact, you've got to be able to promote yourself, convey your worth, convey your value, convey what you're bringing to the table. You've got to be able to do that, whether you're working for yourself or you're working in an organization. So I wanted to share with you what my number one tip is for that. And I learned this from my dad. Now, my dad was a door-to-door salesman. Can you believe that? Literally knocking on doors and selling vacuum cleaners and washing machines. Can you imagine anything tougher than that? Hoover. And he was brilliant. In fact, he was the best in the company, in the Hoover company, and he was the best in the country, Northern Ireland. Every single year, pretty much. He would win the award for the most sales. Now, here was his golden rule for selling. I used to drive around the countryside with him weekends and my school holidays. So I'd hear all his, secrets to selling. So he said, Fiona, here's the number one thing. Don't ever try and sell anything before you've sold it to yourself first. Sell it to yourself first. Now, I applied that to my situation about 22 years ago, and it pretty much transformed my life. Here's what happened. I had just got this book deal, big book deal from a big publisher, and they had huge expectations of me, and they'd actually given me a pretty good advance. And that's all well and good and very exciting and wonderful. But as I sat down to actually begin writing what would then be your own life coach, you know what happened? Nothing. That's what happened. Not a single word would come out of me onto the page. And, it was 1998 and had one of those old word processors. So I couldn't get a word to come out. It was just nothing, gobbledygook. And here's what happened. I thought to myself, well, who am I to do this? I mean, really? I'm not a qualified therapist. I'm not a qualified psychologist. I mean, jeepers, what have I done? And I really contemplated going back to the publishers and saying, listen, I'm sorry about this. I just can't do this. Truth is, I'd already spent half the advance, so that would have made it so difficult. I sat there, and you know what? I remember what my dad had taught me 20 years earlier about selling yourself to yourself, frankly, because that's what I needed to do. That's what you have to do. When you bite off more than you can chew, when you say yes to an opportunity, and then suddenly you're sitting there thinking, oh my Lord, what have I done? What have I said yes to? And it's natural that all that stuff comes up. Like, who am I to do this? Can I do it? Like, really? So here's what you want to do. Here's exactly what I did. I took a pen and paper, and I wrote at the top, reasons why I'm perfect to write this book. And I made a list, and I just kept writing until I couldn't think of another thing. And until I was so thoroughly, completely convinced that I was the perfect person, so uniquely placed to write that book. I thought of things like having my dad as my dad, who was not just an amazing salesman, but he was really self-taught. He left school at 14 and educated himself and was reading all these self-improvement books constantly. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale, I mean, you name it. So he would have these great big cassettes that he'd play in the car. So we're driving on the countryside and we're listening to this. So that was top of my list. That I had grown up with that whole self-improvement ethos and way of looking at oneself and life from the age of 10. That was top of my list. There was lots of other things as well. But honestly, when I finished that list, I tell you, I was good to go. It was all fired up and ready to go. I hit that word processor and it just flowed. And that book, as you may or may not know, completely transformed my career and my life. So my point is that in life, when you want to promote yourself, when you want to present yourself in a way that works, a way that feels authentic and real, both to yourself and to others, you have to sell yourself to yourself first of all. Then it will just naturally exude from you your deep conviction, your deep confidence, your deep certainty. All of that will naturally exude from you. So every time you're faced with a major challenge, every time you want to have a leap forward in your life, go for something bigger, hold on and make sure that you are sold to yourself first of all. So I hope that works for you, because it so worked for me and I still do it today. So I hope that works for you.